It's okay if you need to switch from compounded Tirzepatide to Semaglutide or another GLP-1 medication. This is my story of taking 3 different GLP-1s, and each has worked.
In my GLP-1 journey, which I started 20 months ago, I've taken 3 GLP-1s. And I've lost 74 pounds, which is about 33.5 kilos, something around there, in the last 20 months. I started with Saxenda, which is actually called liraglutide, and that's a daily injection, and it worked quite well. I titrated straight up every week until I got to the top dose, which is 3 grams. Obviously, the dosages of all of these drugs are different, but the top of liraglutide or Saxenda is 3 grams. And at the top dose, I lost about 20 pounds in 6 months. And the reason that I went on liraglutide was because at the time in Australia, Ozempic was not in stock. It was completely out of stock, and Mounjaro had not been released here yet. This was in January or December of 2022, January 2023 when I started. However, Ozempic came out of shortage for a few months in 2023, in about June, and I switched to it and found that it worked better for me than Saxenda, although I did need to titrate up to 1.5 milligrams before I had any real suppression. Then it was great, and I was thrilled to lose 20 more pounds in about 4 months. But then it went back into shortage in Australia, which was a massive blow, and panic set in. I was going to have to switch back to Saxenda, which was okay because at least I had something, but I was like, no, I'd been waiting for the Ozempic and it was so much better, and it was only a weekly injection, not a daily one, and all the panicky feelings that a lot of you are probably having right now, I had then. But when I was calling around, which I did to every single chemist in Sydney basically, I spent 2 days on the phone just calling. I found a chemist who said, no, you're the 100th person who's called today. I don't have any Ozempic. And I went, oh no. I said, have you got any Saxenda? And he said, I think I might have 1 box. He said, but I did just get in a new drug. And my heart skipped a beat. It skipped many beats actually. And he said, I don't know what it's called though. And I said, it's not called Mounjaro, is it? And he said, might be. He said, let me go have a look. It's still in the box. So he put me on hold, and that was the longest 30 seconds, minute of my life. He came back and he said, yeah, it is. It's called Mounjaro. And I said, oh my God, I have been waiting for over a year for this to be released in Australia. I said to him, what doses have you got it in? And he said, I've got it in 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12, and 15. He said, but I've only got a couple of vials of each. And I said, can you please put some on hold for me? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So I got off the phone and I immediately called my GP and said, oh my God, Mounjaro's out. And he said, what? He said, I didn't hear that it was coming out. And I said, it's out. It's wonderful. Now, I have a fantastic GP. He's absolutely brilliant. And he's been with me on this journey step by step. When I first suggested taking Saxenda, he said, okay, let's try. He's known all my history. I'll go into my long history of dieting another time. But he's fantastic. And when Ozempic came out, he was perfectly happy for me to switch to Ozempic. And we had a discussion about what dosage of Mounjaro I should go on. I did not want to start on the 2.5 because I'd already been on the 1.5 of Ozempic. So I decided to go to the 5 milligram of Mounjaro. And from my first shot, the food noise was completely gone, and it was so much stronger than Ozempic. I didn't think about food. I didn't want food. Food was just something that, oh yeah, it's there, but it was not important to me anymore. Now, this does not mean that Ozempic's a bad drug. it's still a great drug. So don't be afraid if you do have to switch to Ozempic or Wegovy or Semaglutide, because it's still a great drug. I still lost 20 pounds in 4 months on it. What I would say is don't be afraid to titrate up to the higher doses if the lower doses aren't working for you. If you're not feeling appetite suppression in the day or two after your shot, it may be a signal that you need to titrate up. The way these drugs should work is to give you a strong appetite suppression for the first few days, which wanes over the week, so that by the next week you're ready to take the next dose. So eat less after your shot and add more calories in as the week goes by. I personally think that this also stops your body from going into starvation mode, which is something that when I used to fast for 5 days, I used to know an awful lot about. After your first few weeks of the starter dose, even when you feel hungry, a few bites will probably be enough food for you. My other tip is don't think of it as dieting, think of it as eating like a normal person. I lost on average over the past 20 months 1 to 2 pounds per week, but my weight fluctuated up and down. As long as the trajectory was down over the months, I was happy and thought I was doing a good job. You'll likely have some stalls where you don't lose anything for a few weeks. My longest stall was 6 weeks, but I looked at it as my body resetting its set weight. And eventually my body started to lose again. I didn't do anything to try and get myself out of a stall. I know some people have to put in more protein, some people decide to exercise more, some people decide to eat more calories. I just let my body calm down and reset itself. And eventually it did, and the weight started to go down. So I hope this gives you a little bit of confidence that if you do have to switch to semaglutide, it can work for you. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you might have. Leave a comment down in the comment section, and subscribe if you're interested in more tips and tricks on how I managed to lose my 74 pounds and become a healthy weight for the first time in 20 years. If you're just starting on this journey, welcome to the rest of your life. You're making a great decision for your future taking one of these drugs, and I hope it's as successful for you as it has been for me. I feel like and look like, but more importantly, I feel like a completely different person now that I'm taking these meds. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification. It really helps my channel to grow. See you in the next one.